See, the exchanges in India have set up two segments. One is a main board segment and the other is a SME segment. Many of the SME companies are profitable and they want to raise some capital. This is because people like you and me may not be able to do enough research on IPO, but qualified institutional investors have more wherewithals to do proper research and then decide whether to invest or not.
Hey everyone, welcome to Cut the Noise. If you are looking for straightforward, no-nonsense insights into today's hottest investment trends, you have come to the right place. Today, we have got something super exciting lined up. SME IPOs. You have probably heard the buzz, but what are they really? Should retail investors like you and me even care? And more importantly, how do we decide if they are worth the risk? I am not doing this alone. Joining me is Ankit Goyal, Head Growth and Business Development at Electrify, who is here to help us unpack the pros and cons and everything in between. So, let's cut the noise. Hi Ankit, thank you for joining in us today.
Hi Megha.
So my first question to you is, how SME IPO is different from any other IPO?
See, the exchanges in India have set up two segments. One is a main board segment and the other is a SME segment. Now, the reason behind setting up a SME segment was to enable smaller companies which don't have which don't have a large requirement of capital by issuance of shares, and hence wants a simplified process for listing on the exchanges in India. So predominantly the SME exchange was set up to simplify the listing process for the SME companies in India and provide them with a platform to raise capital little bit easier than as in a main board. That was the main reason why these two exchanges were set up. And as I mentioned, the key difference entails the process regarding listing and the compliance requirements which a company has to do after listing.
So in your opinion, what are some key benefits of investing in SME IPOs?
See, from a retail investor perspective, SME IPO or a main board IPO, actually the difference is not much, right?
Okay.
Because for a retail investor, my guidance is that they should do the similar level of research that they do for a main board IPO listing. SME IPO is essentially for the benefit of the issuer, the company who is raising the money. It has no benefits for the retail investors. For example, the price being issued is not different for a retail investor compared to what is being offered to a HNI investor or to a qualified institutional investor. Hence, from a retail investor perspective, both the exchanges, the listing on both the exchanges should be seen equally, and they should do the same level of research, understanding before applying for any of the IPOs.
Got it, Ankit. So I wanted to ask you, why do we see such a flux of SME IPOs nowadays?
Yeah, Megha, you're right. SME exchanges has been not so active over the last many years, but of late we are seeing a lot of issuances. There are a few reasons behind it in my mind. I think one is that many of the SME companies are profitable and they want to raise some capital, and they are using this exchange as a mechanism, right? The second being that the stock markets in India are giving good returns over the last many years. This has prompted more and more companies to raise money. So if you notice, not only SME IPOs, the main board IPOs in India are also quite high nowadays, and many companies are getting listed on the main board as well. So the rush of IPO is not limited to SME segment. It is actually widespread, given the overall buoyancy in the stock markets and the positive sentiments on able to get some returns while these companies list and raise some capital.
Okay. And before investing in SME IPOs, are there any things which a retail investor should keep in mind?
Yeah, so please do your normal research, right, which you do for any of the IPOs. For example, you should understand the promoter background. You should understand how old the company is. Certain SME IPOs are getting listed where the vintage of the company is very small. Those in my opinion are a little bit riskier because they have not had a large business and they have not seen the down cycles, downturns of the businesses, right? Please look at the financials. Please look at how the company is performing over the last few years. One important thing which I want to highlight is that many retail investors may apply for an IPO by just looking at the oversubscription rate of the retail segment of the IPO. However, please give some attention to the qualified institutional investor segment and how much they have subscribed to it. This is because people like you and me may not be able to do enough research on IPO, but qualified institutional investors have more withdrawals to do proper research and then decide whether to invest or not. So if in a particular IPO we see a very small percentage of their size, their segment being subscribed, that's an indication that well-researched people are not preferring that IPO.
So Ankit, it is assumed that SME IPOs offer higher returns as compared to main board IPOs. What is your opinion on that?
See, in my opinion, this is more of a myth, and we should look at the data to establish that. SMEs IPOs are typically low on liquidity.
Okay.
So, one of the drawbacks of SME IPO is that investor may not be able to sell the shares once they are allotted easily on the SME exchange. So, and even in terms of returns, if you look at the historical data, my sense is that there is no such correlation, and SME IPOs necessarily will not offer you higher returns, and it will depend on each company's strength and their market demand. Please be mindful of that myth, and please don't invest having that expectation that SME IPOs will offer higher returns compared to a main board IPO always.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of Cut the Noise. A huge thank you to you, Ankit, for dropping some serious knowledge on SME IPOs. Now, you know the potential, the risks, and what you should keep in mind before making any moves. Investing isn't just about jumping on the latest trend. It's about being informed and making smart choices. If you found value in today's episode, don't forget to hit that like button, share this with your network, and subscribe for more eye-opening discussions. Got questions? Drop them in the comments and we'll tackle them in the upcoming episodes. Stay smart, stay curious, and until next time, let's keep cutting through the noise. Investments in debt securities, municipal debt securities, securitized debt instruments are subject to risks including delay and/or default in payment. Read all the offer-related documents carefully.